Hey, I have something important to discuss. Um, I was on Netflix and I was watching that series Strange Sex, and there was an episode that I found about a trans guy. Um, and it got a lot of thoughts going, and I wanted to discuss kind of where where I am right now in respect to how I want to talk about, like, what questions I want to answer, how I want to talk about my transition with everybody. Um, because I made a video like a month ago that I was like, stop asking questions about my body. But now I'm having a little bit of different perspective about what I want to do, about asking questions and how much information I want to share, and how much effort I want to put into educating people, because it takes a lot of energy, you know. So I need to decide what I want to do, um, so that I'm satisfied with my life, but also, you know, being helpful by making these videos instead of just making like weird rants or whatever. Um, anyway, and I want to cut you guys a sort of deal as far as asking questions go. So, I was watching Strange Sex, and it was, a lot of emotions were coming up. Um, the guy in the episode, his name is Nat, and he's talking about his childhood, and so is his mom, and like about how really crappy, um, having to not be in the right body feels, and how it felt. And I realized I wanted to share that kind of stuff with everybody because, you know, I mean, I could just direct you guys to the Netflix video and like other videos and say, here, go learn about these other people. But I feel like instead of directing you towards strangers, then, you know, maybe you could hear it from yet another person, you know, hear it from my perspective, because all trans people have different experiences. Some people's experiences are completely different, and you say, "Oh, don't trans people feel this way about this?" And then you'll ask another person, they'll just be like, "No, I thought it was this and that." Everything is just all over the map because, of course, we're not all the same people. There are millions of us, and we all have different feelings. Um, so, I was left in a weird spot wanting to talk about everything and explain everything in sort of detail. Um, but I realized it's kind of, I can't do that without being as open as possible. Like, there's so many details that, if I were to leave one little aspect of something out, then it would affect how I explain, like, like a billion other things, you know. So I want to give whoever wants to see, I want to give the full picture. So it's kind of difficult for me, um, to want to do that, but it's also difficult for me to keep it all inside. You know, I really like educating people about anything that I can. So, just anything in general, not even related to trans things. If somebody's like, oh, what is this random question? Like, if it's about science or something, like, I really like astronomy, so if somebody asks me about astronomy, I'm just like, oh my god, planets and stars and shit, and I just, like, love explaining stuff like that. And other things, but, mostly, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I want to talk about things, but I guess that means that I'll need something from you guys, some cooperation on your part if you want to see the whole picture. A lot of the questions, or most of the questions I would get or have been getting are about body stuff. Like, it's also that, like, as soon as I see people, it's the first question they ask. It's not even like, oh, how is school? How are you doing? It's just like, hi, what's up? Oh, so how's testosterone? Like, how's your body? Like, that's weird. You know, like, is there nothing else that you want to talk about? And is that, like, the only thing interesting about me? And, why, you know? I mean, I know it's, if you're somebody who hasn't seen me in forever, it's awkward to be like, oh, I don't know how to act around this person because they're switching their gender presentation, you know, now I have to refer to this person as he and stuff. Yeah, it's weird, I totally get that, but I also am frustrated by it, and if you guys could just calm the fuck down. I'm I'm pretty much the same person. I know you guys are trying to, like, gauge social situations because things are different, but it's just kind of funky, you know? It'd be nice to, if I could see somebody that I haven't seen in a while and not have them stare at me like all bug-eyed. And I can tell you guys, I can tell that your brains, like, if you haven't seen me in a while, your, like, neurons are just, like, firing, and you're just like, oh my god, what do I do? And you're just, like, processing what the hell's going on, because this is new. Everything that I'm doing, I'm presenting a new social situation sort of thing to you. I get that. It's weird, though. And it'd be nice to not see that every single damn time I see somebody, you know. Just, like, chill out. I mean, I don't want to... Your feelings and, like, awkwardness are totally valid, but so are mine. I want to not feel awkward all the time. Like, going back to Fountain Hills, I go back to Fountain Hills on the weekends a lot. It's kind of weird, because I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to the grocery store. What if I see somebody... you know, I don't want to... One, I don't want to have to answer questions if they don't know. Two, everybody's just making it so awkward, and... but it's like a mutual awkwardness. I try to, like, play it off and be chill, but, you know... it's slightly unavoidable, but I feel like you guys can do better, you know, to not, like, stare at me like this, mouth agape, and just be like, oh my god, you know, just because you guys have no idea how to interact with me, I guess, because, whatever, you know, I don't know if you get my point, but I hope you do. But moving on to the next subject, or the next part, I feel like I'm kind of afraid of having my videos be really long, because I don't know if anybody's even gonna watch these, or just be like, oh my god, 14 minutes of this dude talking about his emotions, like, why do I give a fuck? But, you know, I mean, somebody is gonna be interested in this, so... Wow, that was weird. Ugh. Yeah, I've already mentioned this in all my videos, but yeah, testosterone equals eating more equals triple chin. So, anyway, back to my main subject. The deal I want to cut with you guys is you can ask questions freely. My disregard my last video that said, don't ask questions about my body. But if you're gonna, you can ask whatever questions you want, but I can also say, screw you, don't ask that shit whenever I want. If at any time I'm feeling uncomfortable, I realized it wasn't really helpful to, you know, just to say, to, like, draw out a category of questions and say, don't ask any of these, because there are a lot of gray areas, and it depends on, like, how I'm feeling. Like, some days I feel really comfortable with my body, and then other days I don't. I have, like, this dysphoric episode, you know, and it's not fun to admit that I'm so affected by emotions toward my body, but I am. Everything just changes, you know, day to day. It really depends on factors that seem out of my control. Like, I'll just wake up one day and be like, oh, fuck this body, you know, waiting for changes to happen, everything's so slow, shit. And other days I'm like, yeah, it's okay, I can sort of handle this. Like, if somebody were to ask me a really weird question, I think I would be able to handle it pretty nicely, you know. But just, I guess, main thing that I want you guys to get is, if I don't want to answer a question, don't get sassy about it. Like, this one person I didn't want to answer her question about something, and I was not comfortable, and I told her I didn't want to answer that question, and then she gave me a face, like, really, you don't want to answer that question? I'm like, fuck you, I'm not gonna, I am, like, as far as I know, like, the only ambassador to my group of friends for, like, trans people, but don't make me uncomfortable, otherwise I'm just gonna shut myself out, and you don't get to know anything, so, suck on that. But anyway, I feel like this is, Jesus, it's already 10 minutes, I'm sorry. But I guess these sort of lengthy explanations are necessary if you actually want the whole picture of what it means to go through gender transition. Basically, that's what's gonna have to happen. You can ask whatever questions. You can ask what you want, but I can say back what I want. If I don't feel like answering it, just suck it up and deal with it. That's kind of the best route, because I'm not going to cut off like a whole section of questions, because they're useful for people to know, you know. But again, if I don't want to answer them, deal with it. So, yeah, I guess that's all I had to say. The end. Thanks for watching.